One of the things you've been talking about on your show is your allegation that government officials are aiding in pedophilia, child trafficking, and the grooming of children, right?
Well, you mean like what Jeffrey Epstein did with the Clintons?
Alex Jones ordered to pay Sandy Hook parents more than $4 million. The conspiracy theorist and InfoWars founder was successfully sued by the parents of a 6-year-old boy who was killed in the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School massacre after he claimed that the shooting, where 20 children and 6 adults were killed, was a hoax. A claim he said he now thinks is 100% real. The parents sued Jones for $150 million, and a verdict on punitive damages is expected Friday, which is today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, regardless of what you think of this man, love him or hate him, it cannot be denied that over the last 3 years, he has been under unbelievable attack, having the major tech conglomerates all decide at the same time to pull the plug on Alex Jones, removing him from YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, iTunes, you name it. He's being pushed to the back corners of the internet. I actually confronted the former head of Google about this specifically, and he is, at the time, was the current executive chairman of Alphabet Inc., about the removal of conservative voices online here when he was attending the Bilderberg conference.
Mr. Schmidt, there's a lot of big tech people here this year. There were last year as well. And since then, we've seen the removal of a lot of conservative voices online. Is that stemming from discussions at Bilderberg?
Again, this is the head of Google, current head of Alphabet Inc., executive chairman of Alphabet Inc., and I even followed him up on this the following day to specifically ask him about Alex Jones in particular, where right here I asked him about it.
It's interesting what happened to Alex Jones. He got memory hold from the internet. Is that something that was discussed here, sir?
Anyways, the point is, guys, and I'll leave the links to all this in the description below, is that I was back in 2019 trying to point out how Alex was clearly being targeted, and now, ladies and gentlemen, it seems that they are absolutely going for the jugular with articles and headlines like this that have just come out from NBC News. Child porn found in documents that Alex Jones sent to the lawyers of Sandy Hook families, court filing says. And remarkably, as I will show you in this video, ladies and gentlemen, this article goes on to basically say that this isn't the case. The FBI have cleared him of this, yet this headline is already doing damage in the minds of the masses who are now going to think that Alex Jones is somehow tied to child pornography. Guys, in case you happen to have missed my video from yesterday, be sure to check it out, the Alex Jones trial and the truth about false flag operations. A lot of important information that I covered in this video. Be sure to check it out if you missed it. But one thing I failed to mention in that video that I just wanted to reiterate today is that I exposed the Sandy Hook false flag exactly for what it was. Just that, a false flag operation. In this video, FBI declassifies over 1,500 documents on the Sandy Hook massacre. Now, in that video, this is, again, going back to 2017, I made a very important point about this false flag, which I just wanted to bring up today because I didn't mention it in yesterday's video. And here's what I said about it over 5 years ago now.
New political enemy of the intelligence communities has become anybody who researches and exposes the JFK assassination false flag and the Sandy Hook shooting false flag. And for the record, by false flag, I don't mean hoax. Please don't confuse the two. Governments carry out false flags all the time in order to blame their political enemies, so we need to focus on who the real suspects are. Criminal elements within the FBI and the CIA.
And that's an important distinction to make. The difference between hoaxes and false flag attacks, because unfortunately with the, as I say, waters being so muddied, today's researchers are conflating the two as being one and the same when they are not. Not all false flags are hoaxes, and not all hoaxes are false flags. We must not get confused about the two. So we're going to talk about that today, guys. And in other news, the U.S. has just declared monkeypox a public health emergency. That's right, Biden administration has just officially declared monkeypox a public health emergency. And you know how many people have died to date in America from monkeypox? 0. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a big fat goose egg, but that's not stopping them from being prepared to take our response to the next level in addressing this virus. Well, we already know what next level means because we've already experienced it. We've already lived through it with COVID-19 84. As we see here, medical staff are now being called to get vaccinated against monkeypox after a doctor has been infected, and this is exactly how it goes. You know, this is what I was saying over 2 years ago, that COVID-19 84 vaccines are first going to start with the healthcare people. It's going to be doctors, nurses, people in hospitals. Then it's going to move on to old age homes and things like that. And then it's going to move on to becoming mandatory for the general public if you want to do anything or go to events or go to restaurants or go to work. And sure enough, it all rolled out just as I had suggested. And now we're seeing it like a pattern here starting to roll out as well. And now we're getting articles like this as well. Monkeypox, 25,000 cases with a batch of new deaths and 3 state emergencies. Well, just like how this article kind of does the damage in the minds of the masses with the title, where the body of it goes on to explain the exact opposite, as we will show you. Well, the same thing is the case with this. They go in to scare you with this headline of a batch of new deaths, but when you read the article, it actually goes to show you that all of these deaths weren't necessarily caused by monkeypox. So we're going to look at that today as well, guys. And perhaps on a brighter note, a gun hobbyist has just made a 100% working 3D printed gun that fires plastic ammo. That's right, it's a 100% working 3D gun, and the barrel and even the ammunition is plastic, because traditionally with 3D printed guns, you'd need a metal barrel and you'd even have to purchase ammunition. Well, that's no longer the case. You can now completely 100% print your 3D printed gun. And hilariously, look at this, Houston bans ghost guns, or 3D printed guns, from buyback events after a man found an opportunity to print money. Yeah, Houston official cities banned 3D printed firearms at future gun buyback events after one man recognized an opportunity to exploit the system and print money. This guy printed up 62 3D printed guns. He handed them over to Houston's gun buyback event, and the city offered him $50 per gun, cutting him a check for over $3,000, and it only costed him $3 a pop to make them, netting him a profit of $47 per weapon. Well done, good sir. Not only making a little bit of profit, but also proving a valid point. So we're going to talk about all that and much, much more in this video, guys. But really quickly, before we do, I just say you check me out here at pressfortruth.ca/donate. You can do PayPal, you can do Bitcoin, you can do other cryptocurrencies, you can do Subscribestar, you can do e-transfer, you can send stuff to my P.O. Box, guys. Links for all of this are all located in the description below. Thank you so much to anybody who does contribute to my efforts to bring you this information. All right, guys, as we said, they are going for the jugular here with Alex Jones with this new allegations of child pornography, and the NBC News is just absolutely a disgrace for having this headline, because when you get into it, you realize that this is very, very misleading. As we see here, lawyers representing families of Sandy Hook massacre victims who are suing conspiracy theorist Alex Jones said that they received child pornography in documents that they were sent by the InfoWars founder, according to court papers filed on Monday in Connecticut. Consultants working with the lawyers discovered the images and the documents that were requested during a court hearing in April, and a lawyer representing the families immediately alerted the FBI, according to the filing. So the FBI advised counsel that its review located numerous additional illegal images which had apparently been sent to InfoWars email addresses, the filing said. So that's an important point. This is stuff that was sent to some InfoWars email addresses. So during a segment on InfoWars, Jones's lawyer said that the FBI cleared Jones after an inquiry found that there was no suggestion that anyone here wanted that material, even looked at it, or even knew about it. Any suggestion that anyone at InfoWars knew that child pornography was embedded in this emails is risible, he said in a statement. So it literally says right here, the FBI cleared Jones. He's been cleared by the FBI of this nonsense, yet they still put out a headline like this knowing that it's going to do damage in the minds of the masses who are, too dumbed down to, actually look into these things. So again, as I said, despite, what your views are on Alex Jones, they're clearly trying to take him down right now. And again, I have a lot of reasons to suspect why that may be the case. It seems that he was the first domino to fall when it comes to the silencing of conservative voices, and sure enough, a great deal of censorship followed that. Well, now, as we see, and as I pointed out in this video, as more of us continue to go on talking about false flag operations, this whole situation is going to be used to discredit legitimate researchers such as myself moving forward. So if you did miss that, guys, be sure to check that out. Links to all of this are going to be located in the description below. Moving on, as we said, the U.S. has declared monkeypox a health emergency. The declaration, an effort to galvanize awareness and unlock additional flexibility and funding to fight the virus spread, would come from Health and Humane Services Secretary Xavier Becerra, who is also considering a second declaration, which would allow federal officials to expedite medical countermeasures, such as potential treatments and vaccines, without going through full-fledged federal reviews. Yeah, gee, what could go wrong there? The administration announcement follows similar decisions by health officials in New York, California, Illinois, and global health leaders. The World Health Organization on July 23rd declared that monkeypox was a public health emergency of international concern, its highest level warning after confirmed outbreaks in about 70 countries where the virus has not historically spread. And as I said, at the time that they declared monkeypox a global health emergency, there were 0 deaths outside of Africa. And I'll remind you too about this video that I put out called Monkeypox March 2021 Monkeypox Exercise that predicted 3 billion cases with 270 million dead as the WHO called for emergency meetings. And I showed you how this connects to Event 201, but I want to remind you about stuff like this. The woman who claimed she got sick after carrying this hissing monkey that escaped a truck from a Pennsylvania crash.
Monkey that escaped a truck in a Pennsylvania crash.
Remember that?
Remember this?
Or
after a truckload of 100.
Yeah, this is the truckload. Or there's this.
Pennsylvania. Once again,
vials labeled smallpox being found in a lab in Pennsylvania. Again, I put this out back in May of 2022. All very, very relevant today, guys. But get a load of this. Again, similar type of thing where the headline makes this claim, just like this ridiculous claim here, but then the article goes on to basically say that that's not the case. Well, look at this. New batch of deaths, right? Get your fear state going. Well, let's actually read the article. As global monkeypox cases continue to climb, health officials are investigating reports of several new deaths, which include the first batch of deaths reported from countries outside of where the virus is endemic in animals. The global case count is now over 25,000, with more than 6,000 in the U.S. The global death toll is now at least 10. Previously, officials reported 3 deaths from Nigeria and 2 from Central African Republic, both of which have historically reported monkeypox spillover cases. On Monday, Ghana, which has also historically had cases, reported its first death, and at the same time, 4 new deaths have been reported in Spain, Brazil, and India. Officials at the World Health Organization are still waiting for more clinical information on the cases, still waiting. An initial report suggested that the death of the guy in Brazil, get this, a 41-year-old man who had lymphoma and was immune compromised, was therefore at a higher risk of severe disease. Wait a minute, he had lymphoma? Isn't that cancer? quite literally cancer? Could it be that he died of cancer while having monkeypox, as we have seen time and time and over again with COVID-1984? The other 3 cases reportedly died from encephalitis, which is inflammation of the brain, which is a known potential complication of monkeypox. And in India, officials said a 22-year-old man died after returning from a trip to the United Arab Emirates, where he initially tested positive for the virus. He delayed treatment while he was in the UAE, but then he deteriorated upon return to India, where he died after being placed on a ventilator. Officials there told reporters that he had also tested positive for Epstein-Barr virus. And get this, the cause of infectious mononucleosis, sorry, I can't pronounce that, and they were still investigating other possible underlying health conditions. Still investigating it. There might be underlying health conditions, yet the article goes on to make the claim that it looks scary when you see that there's a new batch of deaths. Again, we go on to see that they didn't necessarily die of monkeypox. Again, these are some of the patterns that we're starting to recognize over the years of covering this stuff. So just wanted to bring that one to your attention today as well, guys. If you haven't seen this one, be sure to check it out. Once again, links are all going to be located in the description below on whatever platform you happen to be watching this video on. But as I said here, this is a little bit of good news we can end this one on, with the making of this 100% workable 3D printed gun that fires plastic ammo. Here's a video. Let's check it out real quick. I mean, it looks like it works pretty well to me. You can see it has a great deal of kickback, and this is quite remarkable. I mean, it's come a long way since the beginning. I don't know if you guys know, I interviewed the first guy who came up with this way back in 2014. The future of gun control. It's in the internet forever. And this is when I interviewed Dan Dix, Press for Truth, interviews Cody Wilson, one of the major players in creating the first 3D printed gun. But again, back then you needed like a metal barrel. You still had to purchase ammo. Well, now it's gotten to the point where it's 100% fully printable in plastic. As we pointed out, printing guns at home costs as much as $350, but it usually involves metal pieces, and the barrel must be bought, plus ammunition must be purchased. Well, now it appears a gun hobbyist has entirely printed a gun, barrel included, and ammunition all at home, which renders gun control useless. So quite the innovation, and here's thinking outside of the box as a man realizes that in the gun buyback program here in Houston, there he was able to exploit the whole program and make for himself a decent profit. As we said, he printed 32 3D printed guns, gave them over to the gun buyback program. They gave him $50 per gun, and it only costed him $3 to make them, netting him a profit of $47 per weapon. He said the goal was not to personally profit, but to send Houston leaders a message about spending $1 million tax dollars on something that has no evidence that it has any effect on crime. He added another goal was to make the city pay their fair prices at gun buyback events, and to use private donations rather than tax dollars that won't destroy historic guns. And again, I'll put links to all of this in the description below, but it goes on to conclude, very conflicting message here is coming from Houston leaders who have said that ghost guns are dangerous, but yet they now don't want to collect them at their buyback events. Well done, sir. I thought that was pretty funny to end this one on a little bit of a positive note, guys. If you do appreciate my efforts to continuously bring you all this information, once again, I want to remind you to check me out right here at pressfortruth.ca/donate. There's many options for how you can contribute. Thank you to anybody who has taken the time to visit me here at pressfortruth.ca/donate to contribute to my efforts to bring you this information. Once again, links are located in the description below. Whether that happens to be if you're watching this on BitChute or Odyssey, or maybe you're on Rumble, maybe you're on Minds or Float or Bastion, or maybe you're even watching this on YouTube. Wherever you happen to be watching this, please check the links in the description below to find all the sources to this, and also to where you can join me on all these other platforms, and to where you can support my efforts financially moving forward here at Press for Truth. So that's all for today, guys. Once again, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to click that thumbs up button. Share this video with your friends and family who you think need to see it the most. And stay tuned. We're going to have more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.